Welcome to this week's edition of Sun News at Noon. I'm Stockton Myers.
And I'm Frankie Medina. Thanks for tuning in. Question, persuade, and refer. This is important to remember when interacting with others on campus. QPR is much like CPR, as it is an emergency response to a crisis situation. QPR is a gatekeeper training that allows others to recognize signs of possible suicide or self-harm. Getting certified allows you to appropriately initiate communication to the person in harm and establish ground to guide that person to seek professional help. Let's all do our part in becoming QPR certified so that we can best help those around us. For more information, contact the Booth Wellness Center or scan the QR code below.
An update on the David Olson case. David Olson has paid off the stolen funds of over $75,000 on the same day he pleaded guilty to charges of theft. Olson will serve 3 years of probation, and when completed, the theft charge will be lowered to a misdemeanor. Dr. Olson will continue his work here at Utah Tech University as an assistant professor in information systems and analytics. We managed to meet with Olson, and more than anything, he wants nothing more than to highlight the student body at Utah Tech.
One of the things I notice the most about our students here is I just love that they're not pretentious. We don't have, if we have very many of them that come from rich, entitled families, I don't know it. Almost all of them are down to earth, and a lot of them just want to get a good education. They want to be here for a variety of reasons. Most of our students are hardworking, well-intentioned. They have jobs. They're good people. I love my students. A lot of people here kind of know, with research and stuff, I have unique talents in data and working with the students that are here know that just love the students like crazy, and that's kind of my deal then.
Thank you to Dr. Olson for allowing us to spend some time with him.
Talk about a growing campus. Utah Tech University announced that Nyson Towers will be torn down to build Campus View Suites 3. I had the opportunity to talk to Seth Googler and current residents of Nyson Towers to see where students will be living while the construction takes place.
The students at Nyson Towers will be relocated to different room options for spring semester due to the fact that Nyson will be torn down. And we expect that our students living in D Tower will move out of the tower about mid-November, between November 10th and the 15th. And they will move to the University Inn, as well as some other locations on campus, Campus View 1, Campus View 2, and Abbey. And then the remaining towers, C, B, and A, they will move at the end of the semester into whatever spaces we have open as well. And so some of our students will be leaving mid-year. They've just decided to leave Utah Tech, or maybe their plans have changed for whatever reason. So as we have vacancies in our other buildings, that's where the students in Nyson Towers will move to. Of course, some of the students going to the University Inn, which hasn't been used for student housing in the past, but we're going to be using it in this circumstance for those students that are needing alternate housing accommodations.
So the housing department is finding us housing, so when the towers get knocked down and stuff like that, they are going to be placing us into probably one of the campus suites, and they've been asking us if we wanted to stay with our roommates and stuff like that. I'm not really too worried about it. I'm just kind of excited because the towers are nice and all, but it's probably better if we get placed somewhere else anyways.
They haven't told us where we're going yet. They told us that we're moving out in the middle of November for D Tower. The rest of the towers are going to be moving out later. We're going to be paying the same amount, the $10.50 that I pay for a semester, plus we still have to buy the meal plan, even though we're going to be living in a place where we can cook food and stuff. But, it's alright. We do what we can, so.
So the tear down of the Nissan Towers, I kind of have mixed feelings about it because, as nice as the Campus View 2 apartments are, I really like the layout of the Nissan Tower, just having 3 roommates to worry about, maybe even 1, so.
I'm pretty excited about Nissan Towers getting torn down because I'm not really a big fan of it, and I was a big fan of how cheap it was, but they're going to put us up in Campus View 2, I think in December, for the same price as Nyson, so pretty excited about that and what's going to come for the rest of the semester pretty much.
To keep updated on the construction of Campus View Suites 3, scan the QR code below.
A Hurricane Ian update. Yesterday, President Joe Biden flew to Fort Myers, Florida, where he met with Governor Ron DeSantis to discuss the damages caused by Hurricane Ian. Biden says it will cost billions of dollars to repair the damage caused by the hurricane, but they plan to start immediately. During Biden's visit to Fort Myers, the White House approved Florida's request to extend the federal disaster assistance from 30 days to 60. Florida has a long road to recovery, but we are praying for Floridians' health and safety every step of the way.
Have you ever thought about becoming a Utah Tech ambassador? Keep watching to find out more about what an ambassador does every day for our university. Here's Kelsa Lundstedt with more.
If you've been on a tour here at Utah Tech or have been on campus a lot, you've seen an ambassador or two. We usually see them driving around in a golf cart or showing a group around campus, but ambassadors do a lot more than we know.
Okay, so I think that being an ambassador has helped my transition because I've been able to have this built-in family and these built-in friends that are just like here when I need them, whereas like if I was coming in not being an ambassador, I would have to like go out and find those friends, whereas here they're just there.
As an office lead, I get emails once a week or just whenever a tour signs up, and then with those emails it has like the tour's information, where they're coming from, their high school, what they're interested in studying, and I can see all that information. And then I have office hours every week, and then that's when I see the other ambassadors, and as the lead I assign each of those emails that I get to an ambassador so that each of those tours gets assigned a specific ambassador depending on their interests or what they're studying, things like that. So my job is to just kind of oversee everyone that comes into campus during those slot times that I'm assigned and give them a tour with someone that they're like. So that's kind of what I do as an office lead.
During office hours, usually if you have a tour, you'll give a tour of the school, and then sometimes you'll do a presentation too. So it's kind of like you'll present for about 15 minutes and then tour for about an hour. So it's about an hour 15 in all. And then if you don't have a tour or anything like that, you'll direct students, because a lot of students don't know where they're going, or if there's an event in the library, you'll just let people know. On Tuesdays, I usually go from 11 to 1 on office hours, and after that I'll have a lab. And then usually it's kind of office hours that just fit in those little gaps between my classes. And then Wednesdays it's 1 to 3, and then I'll have class from 4 to 5. And then maybe a little meeting after.
My evenings for ambassadors can kind of vary. So on Mondays in the evenings, I'll have a meeting with our presidency team. So that includes our president, 5 vice presidents, and our advisor. And then on Wednesday evenings, we have a big ambassador class. And then I usually have my office hours Friday afternoons to evenings. And then sometimes we do volunteers with the community or with the university as well, so it really does depend. And then sometimes we also work at the welcome desk where we answer questions and just help out from there. And so it can really depend. And then on Saturdays, sometimes we also give tours. And so our evenings for ambassadors usually look like being involved on campus. So right now, our ambassador team is here playing intramurals, which we have a team for every sport, and it's a ton of fun. We love being involved with different parts of the community, such as showing up to all the sports games or fine arts events as a big group and supporting our fellow classmates, and just really becoming involved not only with just the university, but our community as well.
For Sun News, I'm Kelsa Lundstedt.
Thanks, Kelsa. To find out more about being a Utah Tech student ambassador, scan the QR code below.
A cavalcade of warm colors awaits with the coming of the autumn leaves. But be warned, they'll be gone before you know it. Fall is here, and it's brought wonders of nature to Cedar Mountain. Many residents of southern Utah have traditions surrounding the viewing of the leaves. If you and your friends are looking for something to do over fall break, Cedar Mountain is waiting for you.
Stockton, when I hear fall, I just get chills, shivers. I am so excited for the fall season. How about you?
Oh, one of my favorite memories as a kid was going up to Cedar Mountain during the changing of the leaves. And we had a hot cocoa maker with us. And it was just the best feeling being a little 5-year-old in the back of our old van. It was such a warm feeling, and I love it.
Yeah, I heard that the fall leaves up north are just to die for. So I definitely am going to make a trip up there soon to check them out.
Absolutely. After the break, we're going to take a look at some stories from earlier in the semester with some help from staff members of Sun News Daily.
You may have heard that the American Legion helps honor our fallen heroes.
Or that the American Legion helped write the GI Bill, enabling veterans to get a college education.
And yeah, you've heard us tell a good story or two. But did you know that the American Legion does so much more for our veterans? From advocacy on Capitol Hill to serving others in our communities, the American Legion continues its tradition of strengthening America through service. Learn more about supporting veterans in your community by visiting legion.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Sun News Daily covers a wide variety of topics, and we're going to dive deeper into some of the stories that we've covered already this semester and stories that are currently in progress in this new segment we like to call Sun News Deep Dive. I have here with me two wonderful editors from Sun News Daily, Bailey Chisholm in charge of the features, and Joe Boyle in charge of news. So we're just going to be going over some stories that are currently in progress and that have already happened, and we're just going to dive deeper into it and about behind the scenes work and more about just our opinion in general, just regarding the topic. So let's begin with Bailey. Bailey, you're currently working on a piece, or have you already wrote the piece about international student scholarships being cut? Can you go ahead and introduce that for us?
Yes, so I have actually already written that story. It was probably a week or two ago. I got to speak to this girl that started a petition to fight the decrease in the scholarship. So our international students, it's happened over a couple of semesters now. The scholarship started at $7,000. This semester it's at $6,000, and then next semester it's dropping all the way down to $2,500.
Oh no.
So it's a pretty big cut for our international students, and I talked to the student, her name is Sarah. She started a petition which already has 150 signatures as of last time I checked.
Wow.
To fight that, because a lot of them feel really humiliated and just kind of embarrassed because they needed that money and now they're not going to have it.
And what does President Williams have to say about that? Because he addressed that during his State of the University address, correct?
He did. I didn't get to go to that, but I know they tried everything they could to not have the decrease, but in the end there was somewhere else that they just couldn't risk having the money stay with them.
So Joe, what do you think about this? Do you think it's inevitable, or do you think it's stupid and should be avoided?
I mean, I think it should be avoided. I think it's pretty backwards thinking, especially because at that state of the university, he specifically brought up campaigning for growth of bringing in foreign students.
And yet they're cutting the funding.
And yet they're cutting the funding. So it's just, I mean, how are you supposed to expect to bring kids in and to help continue to grow those programs and that demographic when you're taking away money from them?
As well as the university welcomed a very large number of international students in the past few semesters, and now they still expect to get more, but I don't know how that's going to happen with a $2,500 scholarship. And another thing that's kind of confusing is that we just went through a multi-million-dollar name change, and I just don't understand where they can't find the money to give that back to the international students.
Yeah, is a brand change more important than your actual international student base?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something really interesting to think about. And so this student has 150 followers on their petition so far.
So far.
Mostly students, or are they all students?
There's some students, and then she's gone around to community members, some faculty that are also not extremely happy with it. She's just trying to get as many people as she can. And in the story that I wrote, there is a link to that petition that if people wanted to show their support, they can go and sign it.
And what's that story called on sunnewsdaily.com?
It's called Student Fights International Scholarship Decrease with Petition.
Cool. And you can also find that story by searching in the search bar on sunnewsdaily.com. Just look up Bailey Chisholm, and you should be able to find it, no problem. All right, so let's move on to the other thing. Joe, you wrote a wonderful piece on the foam dance at the beginning of the semester. Would you like to kind of talk about that sort of, it was a very interesting event.
Yeah, it was a super interesting process because there was just so much gossip surrounding it, and separating gossip from fact was, I mean, all gossip has merit. That's where every story starts, especially in news. But this one, it was just, you're walking down the hall and you hear, yeah, there was a taser at the dance. Oh, I heard somebody brought in a knife. There's so much stuff. So then kind of navigating through that and then finding out the right people to go to like find out the truth to that. It was
So-
super interesting.
What actually happened at the dance to cause such a hubbub?
So there was some issues. A lot of gossip that like the first night was cut short because they said it was because of weather, and a lot of people speculate that there was more to it. And it was actually because of weather, but
It wasn't because of tasers.
it wasn't because of tasers. Yeah, there was no taser. There was like a pocket knife found the second night. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I do think there's still some truth to the gossip, even though it was kind of shut down by the people that I went to. But you can't print gossip. You have to have a good source. So it was just kind of an interesting process to separate the two and figure out how to really get the truth there. But
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a girl who sadly injured her head during one of the dances. Is that correct? And got sent to the ER?
Yeah, there was a couple injuries actually. I think that first night there was 3 people that had to go to the ER, and second night 1 or 2. But it was just that was more just kind of a issue of overcrowding, I think. And that was another interesting thing. I had a source that talked about the cultures of these dance and how that's an issue, that they're just kind of, a dangerous mosh pits and stuff. But I mean, that's kind of the point. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting that there's just so many opinions and so much outside chatter going on while writing that story. So that was a fun one to write.
Bailey, let's go on to you. Do you think that there's a bit of a safety concern with events like these on campus?
I think there always is, because with how many students are attending these, like I'm not sure quite the exact number that attended the foam dance, but I heard like around 2,000 have been at some of these events.
4,000 the first night.
4,000 the first night. Yeah, with that many people, I don't know how they're going to screen everybody, so there's going to be something that slips in always. I don't think there's a way to avoid it.
Right. I'm a bit of an old school person in the sense that I'm just like, if it's not safe, you shouldn't go. But I understand that things like mosh pits are not my style, and it absolutely is the style of most people at the college here. So I just wish that there was more of a general precaution for safety in those type of things. But Joe, do you have anything else to say about the event? Or Bailey?
Well, I think just along with what Joe was saying with gossip, with the people that we do talk to that would know the answers to these questions, they don't really want to give us those answers because of how it might like reflect on these dances, and people don't want them to get canceled. So I think it's just really tough all around to try to get real answers when people don't want to give them to us.
Do you agree with that, Joe?
Definitely, yeah. I definitely feel like there's a lot more to the stuff. I don't know. You still hear stuff, so it's like there's obviously people have firsthand experience, but yeah, a lot of administration people can be pretty tight-lipped on stuff like this, which can be frustrating, but I mean, it's just part of the process. So.
Right. Well, thank you both very much for coming on and just discussing your opinions about your pieces. This was a lot of fun. I hope we get to do this again.
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. After the break, I'll be back with what's new in the entertainment world.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
The time has come. If you've been keeping up with screen time these past few weeks, we've talked movies, we've talked TV. Now let's talk about my favorite pastime. I know the developer, and they're gonna. Here are some of the most anticipated games releasing in the tail end of 2022. Now, let's get these out of the way first. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 releases on October 28th. NBA 2K23 released on September 8th, and FIFA 23 released on September 27th. Now, these 3 games are what I like to call yearly rehashes. They are mostly the same game, re-released every year with small changes like a new single-player story mode or little features like how shiny can we make Michael Jordan's head? That's real, by the way. The reason they do this? Well, the numbers don't lie. That's why. They did add Ted Lasso into FIFA, though, so that's cool. More unique releases for October include Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope on the 20th of October, which is a crossover between the minions of video games, the Raving Rabbids, and everyone's favorite Italian plumber. The crazy thing, though, it works. Like, it really works. It almost makes me like the rabbits. Almost. The last couple of years of Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch have been kind of divided due to various production decisions, like not including every single one of the over 900 Pokemon in 2019's Pokemon Sword and Shield. But Scarlet and Violet are set to try something new on November 18th, thanks to the new open world setting. What does open world mean? It means there isn't a set path for you in the game. You can choose where you want to go whenever you want. It's like getting lost in the mountains without all the fear of starvation and going outside. Oof. The Callisto Protocol is from the creator that gave us Dead Space. If you don't know what Dead Space is, think of it as a Ridley Scott horror movie like Alien on steroids. And they know how to make sausage. Don't ask. Regardless, the level of detail and the visuals for this game are astonishing, and it should be scary fun when it releases on December 2nd. Lastly, let's take a look at some old friends. Back in April, I predicted that Starfield, Advance Wars, and Hogwarts Legacy would be delayed into 2023. Am I missing one? I know the developer, and they're going to absolutely take their time with this, and it'll still be a glitchy mess when it comes out. You'll see. God of War Ragnarok is the sequel to 2018's God of War, and it's an absolute joy to play. I highly recommend that you play it. This is not coming out this year. I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind.
I have no doubt in my mind.
So yeah, God of War Ragnarok is coming out on November 9th on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. I know I should be over the moon that it's actually coming out this year, but my pride was hurt just a little bit. I'm still excited for it though. And that's it for this week's Entertainment Fix. I'll be back after fall break with more looks into the future of entertainment.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
Welcome back, Trailblazers. Let's dive into everything Utah Tech athletics. Utah Tech volleyball is 1-3 in conference play after a win against New Mexico State and lost to UT RGV. Moving forward, the Trailblazers will play Tarleton State at home tonight. Utah Tech has faced off against TSU 4 times, winning 2 of those 4 matchups. The Trailblazers will play another Texas team this weekend, Abilene Christian, at home Saturday. The men's soccer team opened conference play against Grand Canyon University and took the victory 2-1. Let's take a look. Midfielder Carlos Vargas running into enemy territory. GCU's goalie goes down, and that is now an easy shot for Vargas. Second goal of the night, Julie Bianchi with the assist and Gavin Coe with the goal. A beautiful shot to the top left. GCU came away with 1 goal in the 60th minute of the game, but the Trailblazer defense stayed locked down the last 30 minutes of play. The team hosted Air Force at home and fell 3-0 to the Falcons, putting their record at 1-1 in the conference. The Trailblazers head to Texas to take on UT RGV tomorrow and Houston Christian Sunday. Trailblazer football fell to Abilene Christian Saturday 10-26. Though they couldn't secure the win, there were solid highlights from the game. Let's take a look. Victor Garbalis in for quarterback for Kobe Tracy, out with a concussion. He runs left, he's at the 30, at the 40, and then gets hit just shy of the 50-yard line. It's a nice run though. Garbalis again, looks deep. He's got Ricky Johnson in double coverage, but this is enough for a first down. Here we are on defense, and you're going to want to take a look at number 46, Max Christensen with the tipped ball. He's a fan favorite here in the studio, and he's excited about that one. Here we go, Garbalis again, and he is throwing deep, and he finds Joey Hobart with the diving catch. That is an impressive one, guys. And here we are with our classic star running back, Wally Connolly, knows how to get it done on those long runs. He'll keep running, he'll push through. Here we go, he's got an open hole, and he jukes. It's easy, he makes it look so easy. And there you have it, folks. The Trailblazers do have a bye week this week, so they have time to rest and reset. The women's soccer team traveled to Cedar City to take on SUU Sunday. Due to the weather conditions, the teams only played for 45 minutes until postponing the game until October 14th. Junior forward Carly Nyland managed to sneak in a goal before postponement. The Trailblazers will have a 1-0 advantage for the remainder of the game. Before finishing the match against the T-Birds, Utah Tech will take on Sam Houston tomorrow and New Mexico State Sunday, both at home.
Well, it sounds like we're going to be taking a well-deserved break next week, huh, guys?
Yes, we will. That was a lot to handle.
Any fun plans for you guys?
I'm just going to be working, doing some catching up on schoolwork, actually, because a little bit of us are a little behind on that.
How about you, Reagan?
I think I'm going to sit back and I am going to just relax and take it in. I'm just going to do exactly what the football team's going to do. I'm going to take this bye week and I'm going to use it. I need it.
I'm going to sleep like a bear through hibernation.
I'll definitely be guilty of doing that as well.
Me as well. And that's it for this week's edition of Sun News at Noon.
We will see you here after fall break.
Have a great fall break, Trailblazers.